All right, guys, now we're going to work on front view. Okay, so when you look here at the worksheet for front view, you'll notice now, instead of drawing this part, which is what we drew before, now we're drawing this dark black part here, what you would see at the front. Now it's actually to the left. It's to the left on the on the isometric drawing, but we call this part the front. The actual left view would be over here. So this is called the front. Okay? So you can see again, we've got the little window in front of the block that shows you the shape that you're going to draw. And again, if you imagine that this is the block right here, I know it's hard to see because of the lighting, but if you imagine this is the block, okay, we're drawing this shape right here. This would be the front. I know it's not exactly to scale, but you kind of get an idea of the block here. Let me move the light around. That might make it easier. So you see the block here is very similar to that block. Okay? We're drawing this view right here is what it's going to look like. Right? We can see that this face here sticks above this face here. Okay? So there's going to be a line separating those two parts. All right? Okay. So this is just like the top view, except we're drawing a different part of the block. So you're going to turn the page here. The problem to the first problem. All right, so we're drawing this shape here. And then notice again that we've taken the block. If you imagine that the block is something like there we go. The block is roughly like this. All right, we're going to take it, we're going to rotate it counterclockwise to draw it. So we go from here, get a little bit more light. We're going to go counterclockwise to draw it, just like we did with the top view. Rotate it just a little bit counterclockwise there, like that. Okay? All right. So, again, you're going to always use a ruler when you draw this. Now, what are the dimensions here? So you look over here at this picture. We see the 6 is from end to end. So this entire thing right here would be 6. Okay, over here we see this 3 is from the top down to the bottom, which means that this edge is 3. Okay, then this 2 tells us comes down here, so this edge right here is 2. So if this is 6 and this is 2, we know that 6 take away 2 is 4, so that line's got to be 4. And then it shows from here to here is 2, which makes that 2. And if the whole thing is 3 and this part is 2, then this edge right here is 1. So now we're just going to use our ruler and make that shape on here. So I'm going to turn my paper a little bit to make this 6 because it's easier for me to do it that way. And again, I'm going to go just inside the line on the graph paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See the line? Okay. Then I know that this edge is 3, so I'm going to take my ruler and getting it onto the packet is a little tricky. 1, 2, 3. And then I know that this edge here is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, this edge here, right there, is 1. So I'm going to come down 1 block. This edge here is 2. So I'm going to go out 2 blocks. Move it up a little bit. 1, 2. And then I'm going to connect those together. I look here, see 2. There's 2 squares there, so I think I've done it right. So I'm going to put my ruler on here. 1, 2, just like that. Look back here. There's no uneven spots, right? It's flush all the way across. There's no part that's sticking out above another part here. There is on the top view, but on the front, you don't see that. It's all, this front face is all flush, so I don't have any lines that I need to draw in there to separate it. I am going to shade it just a little bit so that Mr. Reese can see it better when I turn in my picture. Shade it in. You should be able to see that pretty good. But just in case, if you're not the kind of person that makes really heavy lines, or maybe you're using a duller pencil that's not making very dark lines, then just go ahead and go over it with something, a marker. Go back over it with the pencil and make it darker. It could even be, it doesn't have to be a bright marker, it could be a black marker. Just go over it with something, but make sure you use the ruler when you go over it. It'll make it a lot easier to see it when you turn it in. Alright, so finish that up. And there you have it. You can, I don't know if you noticed, but probably can't see it very well. My highlighter is getting a little dirty on the end there, so you might want to use a black marker or a pen. Would probably be better than a marker, but you got to make do with what you got. All right, so you're going to do this problem here. Turn your page. You've got 2 more front view problems here to do. Now again, this is kind of like we'd had with the top view. There's a diagonal line here, right? But when you're looking at it directly from the front, you wouldn't notice that slant right there. Just like we didn't notice the slant when we were looking straight down at that slanted view, like I did with the ruler. Remember, if I held the ruler at an angle like this, it still looks like a rectangle. Right? You can't really see that it's a different shape. Still looks like a rectangle, whether I slant it or not. So same thing with this line. You wouldn't see that that's a diagonal line. It would come out as a straight line here. So you're going to draw that one, and then that will be the end of the front view problems.